Asia time zone and the US time zone. So we are gathering at Asia time zone, and again, yes, Bishkek hosting from Search for Common Ground. We are also the members of the Council of Tech and Social Cohesion. And the topic for today's expo is From Harm Mitigation to Intentional Design. So I guess we all share that it's really hard to overestimate the importance of this topic in our lives, which affects how we learn, how we connect, even how we perceive reality, and how we feel ourselves, yes, and how we communicate with people. And when we think about it, technology can affect both positively and negatively. It can divide us, make a lot of harm that's really even sometimes hard to imagine how the harm of technology can be amplified. At the same time, it can also build bridges and help us to strive and to empower. And it's really great to realize that there is a platform, because this issue cannot be addressed just by peace builders alone or by tech people alone. So that's why this council platform is so important, because it also convenes tech people and peace builders and generally people who work on to make the societies healthier, just societies. And also, I understand that today in the room and also online, we have people who are like maybe working in this area like 2 years, 3 years, even more. But we also have people, maybe it's first exposure to this topic. So we will really try to have some basic, yes, discussions, but at the same time, some more in-depth discussions. And what I want to briefly mention that when we were preparing to this event as a Search for Common Grounds team, we did kind of try to do like informal inventory of initiatives in Kyrgyzstan or broader Central Asia, which intentionally work with technologies on social cohesion and peace building. Going beyond, social media. Of course, social media part is a bit more widespread. At the same time, when technology and online platforms are used for social cohesion, we were looking for these kind of initiatives, and we were really surprised that despite the fact that internet penetration in Kyrgyzstan is quite high, it's more than 92%. At the same time, it was a bit difficult to find this kind of initiatives. But we also acknowledge maybe there are a lot of these initiatives, but we just don't know about them. We are not aware about them. So this is a great opportunity for us in Kyrgyzstan part to come together for the first time. And also then maybe have also more practice of coming together and reflecting on how tech can build social cohesion and what practices we have and share with each other. And today we will have a great opportunity to listen from different contexts beyond Central Asia, but also from Kyrgyzstan as well. So we have, yes, again, online participants. Please introduce yourselves in, it's Q&A session part. So anyway, again, so today I hope will be a platform where we can find each other, learn from each other from different sectors, but also from different geographies. Thank you very much for joining. And now let me pass the floor. It's my pleasure to give a floor to Lena Slachmuijlder, who is the co-chair of the Global Council on Tech and Social Cohesion. And Lena is one of the people who is behind this initiative globally. Thank you, Lena, over to you.
Thank you so much, Samara, and greetings to everyone. Let's move to the next slide. So my name is Lena Slachmuijlder, and I am the co-chair of this Council on Tech and Social Cohesion. I'm an advisor on digital peace building with Search for Common Ground and a practitioner fellow with the USC Neely Center. And so happy to see so many of you online from all over the world, from Indonesia to Bujumbura to Europe. This question, what if technology could build trust and collaboration rather than polarization and violence? So this was the question we asked ourselves more than 3 years ago. There was a lot of concern already about social media and how it was misinforming us and polarizing us. But a lot of the dominant frame at that time was about bad actors and bad content. And a lot of the tactics were to block them or take down their content. And when I looked around at what peace builders were doing, They were doing fact checking, they were doing digital literacy, and many were trying to get these very popular influencers to promote peace. But then we began to ask this question, what are the incentives behind why people are behaving like this? And when we asked the question to technologists, what we heard was surprising. They told us that, in fact, there's many levers in the design of a technology that can incentivize, reward, or sanction behaviors. And that's where we saw the gap. That's where we realized that there was a missing connection between peace builders and technologists to really answer this question well. And when we began to bring in researchers who understood polarization and social cohesion together with policy influencers, that's what gave birth to the council. Next slide. Next slide. And when we ask ourselves, how do we drive this perspective and advance these ideas, we look at it from a question of policy. What kinds of incentives through government and regulation can hold platforms accountable to have healthier tech design? At the product level, what can we practically be advocating and elevating? And what kinds of experimentation and rebuilds can we see at the product level? And then practice is important because, again, a key part of leading to the council's birth was practitioners transforming conflict, building peace, and trying to harness the right kind of tech to do so. Next slide. Next slide. And part of also what the Council on Tech and Social Cohesion has sought to advance is really a question of connecting what we're learning. What we're learning about things like what happens when we change the algorithms from being not only purely engagement based, what happens when we change some of the default settings, what happens when we bring in a respect button instead of just a like and hate button, what happens when we begin to measure the polarization footprint, the effect of these platforms on polarization. So on this slide, these are just some of the members of the Council on Tech and Social Cohesion who are doing groundbreaking work to really answer those questions that emerge from when we start to ask the question, what's the correlation? What's the connection between how we've designed this technology and how people behave? Are they safer? Are they feeling more of a sense of belonging? Are they leaning in or are they leaning out? Are they feeling this sense of agency online? And whether it's through the kinds of debunk with kindness work of dignity and difference, or the amazing library of the Pro-Social Design Network that really measures and captures all this kind of research around tech design, this is also a really key part of why we created the Council on Tech and Social Cohesion and how we hope that it can be in service to many of you online that are doing so much of this work. Next slide, please. So the council itself has oftentimes tried to harness that cross-sectoral perspective on this question of tech design and social cohesion. And you'll see here, and you can see voila, Trini has just put the link to a shared document that we're going to be keeping alive throughout this expo, where many of the links, you don't have to worry about capturing it from the chat. You can go right to that document and see. And so these are just some of the examples of the kinds of documents that we've brought together that seek to really reflect the cross-sectoral thought leadership from technologists from the Integrity Institute, together with people fighting TFGBV, together with people who've built tech platforms and understood what the opportunities and limits of trust and safety teams are. And you can find more of those on our website. And we also do a Substack where we seek to, again, elevate and amplify what we're seeing is emerging. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So we currently have about 106 members of the Council on Tech and Social Cohesion. What was also really intentional was to try to reach beyond North America. It's true that because it's the birthplace of Silicon Valley and because there is a lot of activities and initiatives around technology in North America, we wanted to really make sure that the Council reflects the perspectives of Europe and Africa and Asia and East Asia and Latin America. And so we've tried to expand so that we have effectively many diverse perspectives. And that's, I think, one of our strengths. Next slide, please. And so today, we're kicking off this expo with a couple of the key things that we know to be true. First, that technology is not neutral, and that design matters, and that the polarization and the triggering of offline violence that we've seen as one of the effects of some of the technologies that are designed today and that are in our lives is unacceptable, and we want to change that. So we want to really understand that we can design technology differently to bring out the best of humans, to not exploit our vulnerabilities. And effectively, there is a growing effort away from harm mitigation, moving beyond content moderation or trying to silence so-called bad actors towards intentional design. And so today we're going to hear about that from people building platforms, people trying to study and measure the effect of platforms, peace builders trying to navigate the harms online, but also build healthy societies, both online and offline. Regulators are part of our conversation today as a key lever of incentivizing or rewarding or sanctioning platforms that operate in different markets. We're going to hear later in the Americas segment from litigators. You probably know of some very groundbreaking landmark court cases that pointed to the design and the architecture of these platforms as something that could hold liability. And of course, many civil society, peace builders, policy advocates from all over the world. So we, again, are really happy that you're joining us today. We will be sharing the recordings. We have the shared resource document. And we also encourage you as well to share other resources inside that document so that by the end of today, we're really feeling as though we've come out of this with a wider perspective, a larger horizon of organizations and initiatives doing this intentional design work. So with that, I would